What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Fire Emblem Fridays. So, today, we're finally starting our Fire Emblem Echoes Shadows of Valentia playthrough, and I've got an idea for a twist in mind to make this a bit more interesting and add a bit more variance to what classes I'll be doing. So, for the moment, we're just going to jump into a new game, which, let me just get that going. I think for this, we're going to do normal, just because I'm not very good at this game yet. I mean, I've gotten a bit, I'm not terrible at it, but I'm still not great, and I would prefer to have this be relatively merciful, considering what I've got in mind, which we'll get to shortly. But I am going to go on Classic, just because, you know, it's Fire Emblem. Last time my excuse was not using, or it was the randomizer making the game a lot more difficult for me, and to be fair, I would have probably had a much harder time if I had done that on casual, or classic, but that's honestly part of why I did it on casual, just trying to get my feet wet with the randomizer again, which, if you guys missed the last few parts of that randomized series, I uploaded the last 3 parts, last week, unfortunately due to just a glitch with how YouTube uploaded the videos. I think the second to last part uploaded before the other 2 parts because YouTube, but they're all in order on the Fire Emblem Fridays playlist I've got on my channel page, which you can click the link next to the subscribe button to check that out, and just look at my channel page, see what other uploads I have, although, honestly, most of my non-Fire Emblem uploads are not that great, in my opinion. I'll probably be revisiting some of the games I've done in that, mainly League of Legends, but... So, we'll get to that eventually. Now that I'm finally done with high school, all of that will be a lot easier, but that's not really the point. So for now, I'm just going to select no for those, because I don't really care. I haven't actually decided how much I'm going to let the game's audio speak for itself. I think I'll probably just put it on auto-scroll and maybe comment here and there. Oh yeah, I haven't beaten the game yet, so I still don't understand this scene.
No. Don't leave me, Celica. You can't. Celica. Celica, say something, please. Celica!
Okay, so I don't understand completely, but I think what just happened in that scene, don't actually correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. I don't mean that to be mean or arrogant. I would prefer to experience it on my own, as I finally beat the game on my main file, hopefully sometime in the next few days. But in the meantime, just, what I think happens there is Alm kills Celica, maybe? Or, here, actually, I'm gonna pause the auto-scroll for a second here. It almost seems more likely that Celica kills herself, but I don't quite understand why. Like, it doesn't... Alm's reaction to that, or to Celica's death in that scene, doesn't seem like what it would be if he actually stabbed her. But it seems pretty clear that the sword that Celica was stabbed with is falchion. So I would presume that maybe she took Alm's sword and decided to kill herself because story that I don't understand yet, but we'll get to that eventually on the long road that will be this playthrough, presuming I don't game over halfway through this episode. But anyway, I'll just let the prologue continue.
Wait, why not? He and Celica went off for a stroll in the woods. I saw them leave.
He's with Celica? Again?
Exactly. Again? I mean, Celica just moved to Rand Village, right? Nice to know we're so easily replaced.
He's not replacing us. close.
Okay, pretty sure they're
I
not
hate to
cousins
break
from
it
what
to
I've
you, Faye.
found, and then also,
Sir Myson only has one
and then
grandkid,
also,
and
it's
that's all.
seeming
Celica
to be
is
pretty
his
likely
ward.
that
Mom
they
told me
won't get
they're not related
back
by
together.
blood.
As far as I know, from what I've played so far, the two don't
I don't believe it.
join up again
Still, I
until
think
maybe
the
they've got
story's
something at the
going.
end of the
Celica
game, but I
had
don't
a
know.
dark, unspeakable past.
Stop that, would you? So does this mean... is Alm gonna marry her someday?
What, marry her? Are we having the same conversation?
Yeah, I'm kind of with Gray on this one. I mean, it's
Oh, there
kind
you
of
are.
cute
Guys, I'll never
that
believe
Faye
this.
is,
Hey,
like,
Tobin.
so in love with Alm, and
Three
it's kind of
in the woods.
depressing a bit to
A real
see that
knight
she just
in the castle.
kind of gets set off to the side while Alm goes off
Why would a
with
knight come
Celica
here?
on
Big fan
adventure,
of lure
or
or something?
while Alm
Missing
sort of
this.
falls in
Could be
love with
the last
Celica and
night we
whatnot.
see for months or years. Cliff, Faye, you coming?
Yeah!
Huh? Hey, wait up!
Weren't they just talking about how Alm had so easily replaced them, and then they run off to see some random knight who ends up being slayed?
Over here! Come look at this!
Yes, this... Like, when I first played through this, the first thing I did was, like, try to walk over this way. But they've got, like, an invisible wall that you can't pass because they need you to go in a certain direction to advance the story. Wait, where did Celica even end up? How did I... Oh, there she is. How did I manage to get lost just by walking along an invisible wall at the edge of the field?
What is it, Celica? You find something?
Oh, and I like how they added Alm's portrait on, like, the lower screen and sort of made it more like a...
No.
almost like first-person conversation with the other character. I mean, obviously it's not
Boys don't wear wreaths.
first-person necessarily, but still.
Stupid. It took me a long time to make this. Fine then. Maybe I'll just give it to Grandpapa instead.
You're kidding, right?
Grandpapa knows a manly wreath when he sees one, unlike some boys.
Ha ha, very funny.
You're picturing him wearing it. Admit it. There's the smile I was looking for. Huh? What? Is something wrong?
No, I'm glad you've cheered up is all. When you first came to the village, you always wore such a dark expression. Plus, you never spoke a word. Grandpapa told me to be nice, but I wasn't sure how to make things better.
Well, I think you did just fine. Each story that you told me, each flower you picked for me, each walk you took with me here in the woods. That all made a difference, Alm.
Come on, I didn't do anything special.
Or maybe you did. I'm sorry that my first words to you were so unkind.
Are you talking about when you called me a boar or a claw?
Hey, I said I'm sorry. I've just never had any friends my age. So I guess I wasn't used to boys like you.
Well, I'd never met a girl like you either. Don't let it get to you.
Say, why are you so nice to me?
Why? Do I need a reason? I mean, I guess it's because I never knew my parents, I have no siblings, and Grandpapa has always forbid me from setting foot outside the village.
I don't get
You're
that,
a
like...
window to a world that I've never had the chance to
Kind
know.
of getting into spoilers
Is
here
that
if you
a
haven't
good
played the
reason,
game. I'm
or-
trying to make this
Oh, hey.
playthrough, unlike my Fates
this?
randomizer,
We have the
which
same mark.
I focused mainly on the gameplay. I'm trying to have this one include more of the story. So, mild spoiler, skip forward. I don't actually know how long this will take. Maybe like 20 seconds, if you don't want to hear it. So from what I understand of the story so far, and again, I have not beaten the game yet, I'm pretty sure that Alm is actually maybe like the true son or grandson of Emperor Rudolph of Rigel. So, I feel like, well, it's repeatedly said that Mycen doesn't actually have any children, and so obviously Alm and Celica are being misled on this, but what I don't quite get is why Alm is also not allowed to leave the village. Like, I guess if they're trying to hide the child of the Emperor, it would be ideal to do this, but then how did Alm end up here? I hope it'll be explained more later. Alright, so sorry for those brief spoilers, but also, just a quick note, those two marks don't look like the same at all. Like, maybe it's just because of Alm's being on the back of his hand while Celica's is on her palm, which gives it a bit more of a curve, and maybe it's just or maybe that's just like a quirk of looking at this on a 2D screen, but Celica's mark looks pretty distinctly more curved to me. Perhaps it is the same mark, but I kind of doubt that.
Yes, except yours is on your left hand and mine is on my right.
Well, that makes us close. Doesn't it?
I suppose it does, in a strange sort of way.
Yeah, like the way where one of you will possibly kill the other?
It's because they're special. They prove that the two of us belong together. Always. That is, if you're not already tired of a clod like me making you laugh.
Of course not. So, do you mean it? We'll always be together?
Yes.
Nope,
I promise.
Nope, you guys will be separated for basically the entirety of the game. Yeah, Alm's you play as Alm in Act 1, which he never meets up with Celica in Act 1. You play as Celica entirely through Act 2, who then meets up with Alm at the very end of Act 2, but then they go their separate ways, and some random earthquake or rock slide or something separates the two, like, so that they can't interact at all. I don't think they kind of work towards the same objective, but in different ways in Act 3. I haven't beaten Act 4 or 5 yet, so I don't know exactly how it works there, but as far as I can tell, the two parties do not join, and Celica is basically never going to fight alongside Alm until maybe Endgame, but I don't know. I hope Endgame. I think it would be really cool to be able to fight the final boss with both of the protagonists.
My word. I'll never leave.
Excuse me.
That was Faye!
Is she in trouble?
It came from beyond those trees. Come on!
Well, I guess it's a good thing Celica never finished that sentence, because then she would be breaking her word when it got to the end of Act 2, when she just sort of storms out of Zofia Castle. Oh, right. That one's not really that much of a spoiler, I guess. Like, you realize as soon as we'll start Act 2, which will probably be another week or two on this series, that Celica is working her way towards Zofia Castle.
In service to His Majesty King Lima IV. May the powers bless him in his name until the end of days. Hereby command you to lead us to your miserable line of hovels, where you shall have the honor of dining us and otherwise providing all comforts. It shall be an evening to remember. So lead on, and make haste now.
But, we can't just... We'll get the scolding of our lives if we bring strangers to the village.
Good Sir Knight, if I may. Our home is but a small village. To call it a line of hovels is too generous. We do not wish to offend you when you are clearly deserving of so much more. So please, we humbly implore your great mightiness to...
Okay, Gray is pretty awesome, but
Have you an older sister?
he gets a lot better once we get through the age jump and after the prologue and get into the actual game.
We'll take all the food and drink you can muster, and your sisters can serve it. I wager
Slade,
we'll not but
that's
pig feet and horse
borderline
piss, but so be
pedophilia,
it.
so
I shall force it down.
maybe
if
don't.
I must.
Cliff, shut your hole. Don't cry in front of him. But Gray, we should all be crying, Gray. We're not really gonna take him to the village, are we? Hey, I don't like it
I like how
either.
they're talking about all this,
I
and
knew
they
the
just
boiling
don't
ranks was
seem
such
to
little
think
turds, they never
that Slade can hear them.
Enough chittering, little squirrels. I am not a patient man. If you do not wish to entertain us the one way, you can entertain us the other. Perhaps we shall remove your tiny heads from your shoulders, one by one. You first, Philly. Don't worry, lass. I'll make a nice, clean cut. else does this blasted village contain?
Get away from my friends! You're not going to set one foot in our village!
Is that so? Someone neglected to teach this mangy pup any manners.
What someone really neglected to teach him is the fact that
there,
it's
girl.
like
Show me
5
your
kids
face.
against trained knights.
By the gods, it really is her. How you came to walk among these animals is beyond me. Regardless, you shall make a fine prize to take back to General Desai. Seize her!
No, let me go!
Get your hands off her! Oh, you did not just punch a knight!
Well, technically a paladin,
You
but, you
dare
know.
raise a hand to me, you base form, barn-bred. So be it. You will stave off your death sentences no longer, especially you. The mother can't save you now, brat.
But Mycin can.
Grandpapa?
What? Mycin? What are you doing in a backwater wasteland like... but I think I know. Now this is indeed good fortune. We never finished what we started in the flames that night, old man. I have much to repay you for. I mustn't forget all my virtues, after all.
Children, run to the cemetery up ahead. Go on now.
What? Why? What are you gonna do?
Now, all of you, run!
All right, come on, guys.
Wait, so Slade and a couple of his men are mounted. How exactly did they manage to get far? Like at all? But in any case, we're finally on to almost actual gameplay here. Even though this will be a pretty short section.
Ruffians away, but you must follow my every command.
What? But we're no match for them.
Yep, you're completely right, Alm. You really can't do much against this guy.
It's just that this time he's also crazy. We can't do this. Half a dozen children can't win against mounted knights. I want to go home.
Enough!
Yeah, I'm kind of with
The
Mycin
only
on
way
this
you're
one.
going home is by fighting as if your life depends on it.
Well, that might be true for you, Mycin, but as you guys are all about to see, I've got a different plan for this chapter.
Taught you the soul. Now, clear the mind, steady the hand, and show me what you've learned. Only you can get yourselves through this.
Nope.
Are you ready? I want first, keep your distance from the enemy.
Okay, so then it just gives us a few tutorials, but... So... everyone here has swords. How exactly did all these children come to have a bunch of swords? Like, Celica has her golden dagger, which is frankly an actual sword.
Allow me.
Like, if you look at it in Act 2, when you... if you give it to Saber, or even if you just have Celica use it in, like, the first fight, it's very clearly the size of an actual sword, but yeah. So, long story short of the strategy for what I'm going to do for this little prologue here, Mycin is overpowered, the children are not. Mycin is going to do all the work, because no one gets EXP for this prologue. Like, the prologue has literally no effect on the rest of the game from what I'm aware of. I can literally just have Mycin do all the killing, have all the child units stay out of the way, and it will be over pretty quickly. Or as quickly as it can with Slade's AI having him sit on that gravestone, so Mycin has to go to him. But because Mycin's a Gold Knight and a level 5 one compared to level 1 base classes and then a Paladin, he can basically just crush them all. I think we're going to go after... let's go after Slade here, but as you can probably see from the hit rate on that bottom screen, it's not very good, and as you saw there, because the gravestone terrain effect is just overpowered. And, of course... Oh, wow, we got a crit. That's unexpected. I don't think I've ever actually seen Mycin's crit animation because I haven't gotten him yet. Anyway, so Slade finally decides to attack us, but unfortunately we're gonna miss. Oh, we actually hit one. I was going to say we're unfortunately gonna miss because gravestones are just stupidly overpowered, and now hopefully he'll come to us. Yeah, cool. So now he's the one with the bad hit rate because gravestones just provide a ridiculous amount of avoidance. And then we just quickly deal with Slade, and this is the first time that he runs off.
Will be eager to the princess who refuses to die.
Yeah, it's not really that much of a spoiler, but Celica isn't who she seems. I won't go further than that because then it gets into more proper spoilers and her promotion, so I'll just leave it at that.
We did it! We actually did it!
No, you didn't.
Look at her run, Grandpapa! So, wait, how did we do that exactly?
I already explained it, Gray. We had Mycen do everything.
It's all in the wrist.
Oh, shut up, Tobin. You didn't do anything.
You wish. We only survived because we did exactly as Sir Mycen commanded.
Or rather, had Sir Mycen do all the killing
Does that
instead.
mean Sir Mycen commanded you to sob like a baby?
Okay, I have to say, I do like some of the interactions between the villagers. They're just fun to watch unfold, even though it does take up a lot of time in the early game.
That was great! What? We saved the village from those despicable knaves! We're heroes! I mean, if nothing else, we're not dead.
Now that they know Celica is here, they will stop at nothing. It's no longer safe for her to stay in the village.
But
Wait, so Mycen takes Celica out of the village, which is what we're seeing here. Long story short, Alm and Celica are basically forced to part ways because Mycen is trying to keep Celica safe.
Not yet, at any
And so, as a result, Celica sort of gets taken away and all that. But what I don't quite understand is why don't the soldiers return again? Like, Mycen's whole reasoning for getting Celica out of here is that Slade will return with a bunch of men or something like that. And so, how then does Ram Village survive when Celica gets taken away immediately instead of having the soldiers watch it happen?
turned into a fine mess. Well, you don't know why she's leaving.
Oh, and that pendant Celica just gave Alm,
Not everything is
as
our
far as I can
business.
tell from what I've
I just
seen in
feel
the
bad
story
for
so
her,
far,
you know?
it does have, like, special powers. Presumably, it's got, like, a portion of Milla's power, or maybe it's like Azura's, pendant in Fates, where it's, like, a portion of,
She and Alm are
Milla's
different.
Dragonstone or something, although I don't even know enough about Milla to say whether or not she would even have a Dragonstone, but the point is it seems to hold, like, a fragment of,
I have a place.
a fragment of
under
Milla's
his
power
care.
that eventually
Again,
will
with the Mother
save
will,
Alm
I
and
will
basically
stay
his
by
entire
your
army.
side, but I cannot leave Ram Village.
You don't need to apologize. The days I spent, the experience, you don't have to. You just have to promise to always be my grandpapa.
Of course.
Celica!
And of course Celica was like, oh, I don't want to see Alm again because I'll just end up crying and it'll be bad. And then Alm just tracks them down anyways.
You came for me.
I want to make a new promise. One day, when I'm older and stronger, I'm going to find you. It doesn't matter
Eventually,
where
yeah.
the world hides you or how long it takes. I promise to find you. So please, don't forget me, okay?
Okay, I just want to say something here about that. Like, Alm says that he'll eventually find Celica again, but if the entire point is that Mycen is taking Celica away to hide her more effectively again, then wouldn't Alm being able to find her kind of imply that everyone else can as well? Which does end up happening eventually, of course, but it just kind of seems like Alm is promising to blow Celica's cover.
I could never forget you, I'll be waiting for the day we can meet again. But for now, I have to go.
Yes, John. I do. So long as destiny wills it.
And of course Mycen is like super obsessed with Destiny as it appears throughout the majority of the story. And then I think this is the intros, or like a sequence that leads into the introduction of the game. Oh, that's right. I don't think it's a whole cutscene, and if it were, I would probably skip it because I don't want to get this video flagged like my, I think it was my third Fates video did. I don't know if I'm allowed to show this, so I think...
Once the gods themselves...
Yeah, I think for safety reasons I'm just going to skip this, sorry. Just because I don't... Like, this is my first Fire Emblem Echoes video, and I don't know how much of it I'm allowed to show. Or, like, if I would get a copyright claim on that. Wait, why is Myson using a sword? He's a gold knight, he doesn't get a sword. He gets a lance. Also, where did Alm get this armor? Like, Alm's armor looks pretty cool, and Myson, and this little sequence here is pretty awesome, but it doesn't explain anything about the backstory behind it. They're just like, oh, as children, Alm and Celica were close, and then they got separated, and then spontaneously, Alm has this really cool-looking armor and is fighting Myson for training.
Whether I'm getting old or you're getting better. And we both know I'm not old.
Lies.
Well, good. Then that means you're ready to let me travel outside the village.
Nope.
Don't misconstrue my words, boy. The rule still stands.
But why? I'm not a child anymore.
You do know, Alm, that saying that is like the stereotypical child thing to say.
You just said I can... If I meet with any dangers, I'll have my sword and my wits.
And Lucas and 4 villagers, who will reclass in interesting ways that I will explain once we actually get to a chapter.
Look,
Well,
people
I shouldn't say
starving.
chapter, that's more like
Many have turned to thievery and plunder.
regular stuff.
Brigands loot village, and don't think I haven't heard what the Regalian army has been up to. They've been crossing the border for years in violation of the Divine Accord. And with that sacred bond broken, now the terrors have resurfaced as well.
Thank you all for conveniently summing up all of
Sophia,
the backstory
please,
here
Grandpa, I want to make
of
a
why the
difference
world is
in a
basically
world
going
bigger
to trash.
I want to see all the amazing places you've told me about, that Celica told me about.
Suppose you do set forth with your sword and your wits. So what? Will the grand story of your life be how you met the end of a brigand's axe? Before you dream of changing the world, learn your damn place in it. And no more talk of leaving.
What's his problem? Why teach me to use a sword if you're not going to let me fight? Every day in this place is exactly the same as the next. I know I'm meant for more than this.
Yeah, otherwise we wouldn't have
But you
bothered
have to
having a
let me
prologue
find
about
it.
you.
Huh? What's all the commotion? It's coming from the gates.
Okay, so before we jump into this, I'm going to just pick up a few items because in the early game it's nice to have a good collection of items to draw on. I guess I'll pick up the splitting axe, even though you never get an axe unit that can use it in this game. So I guess I'll just sell it when I get the opportunity to. And then I guess I'll quickly take a look around the square, even though I don't really remember if anything valuable is here. Oh yeah, drinking water, that'll give me like a way to get more healing. Let's see here. Oh, flower, and I can't tell what these are. Carrot, okay. It looked like the, like, leafy part of the carrot was separate from the, or it was like a separate item from the carrot, so that's why I didn't know what it is. Okay, so
hey.
here's where we meet Lucas.
This fellow's here to see Sir Myson, and he was just about to tell us more.
So then, oh, hang on, let's quickly examine, I guess, oop. That wasn't what I meant to click on. Hard bread, that's what I meant to click on. Flour. I think that's all the items we can get in this area. Let's see. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's any other items we can pick up here, so let's just talk to Lucas and advance the
Good
story.
day. You must be Sir Myson's grandson. Ah, was it?
Lucas, how exactly do you know this? Have you been
My
talking
name
with,
is I fight for the Deliverance.
have you been talking with the fellow villagers about that?
Deliverance? What's that?
Hooray for
Aren't you one of the
sheltered
Knights of
children.
Sophia? The King's Knights?
Oh, I see. I suppose that means word hasn't yet reached your village. In that case, please forgive me for heralding such dark news, but
And here Lucas basically tells us that the king is dead, or just a quick summary. The king is dead, Chancellor Desai is now in control of the throne, the Deliverance has formed out of the former Knights of Sophia to try to kill, or to try to push back and reclaim Sophia, and basically the world is screwed.
King Lima IV is dead.
Yep.
He met his end some days ago at the hands of Chancellor Desai.
Yeah, we'll see a fair amount of him and eventually kill him for his Draco Shield. Well, kill his double because reasons. We have to save some battle for Act 3 and all. Or for all.
What? You're saying it was regicide?
Pretty
I fear
much.
so. It seems Desai sold Sophia to the Regalian Empire, along with his soul.
Yeah, from the sounds of things, Desai did that literally
No doubt they
a
promised
decade
him
or so
lands,
ago.
perhaps even a title. Upon Lima's death, the Chancellor and the Regalian army seized Sophia Castle and began to visit unspeakable injustices upon the king's people. Sir Clive, of the Knights of Sophia you mentioned, would have none of it. He formed an army to free us from Regal and named it the Deliverance. However, we are outmatched and fast losing this war. We need a hero's aid. And so, I have come to the home of one of Sophia's greatest heroes, Sir Myson.
Yeah,
Do you
apparently
see,
Myson was like
Sir Clive
a
would not have
commoner
sent me were it
who
not
eventually
urgent.
became
Will you take me to see your grandfather?
a
Yes,
very
of
successful
course.
knight of Sophia, and eventually, I think, fell from favor and ended up here
Sophia
after
was a hot wad.
the murder
Is
of
this guy
the
serious?
majority of the royal family was
So
pinned
there's
on
going
him.
to be a war?
Yeah, Toby,
Already
pretty
is
much.
one from the sound of things.
Yep, you're completely right, Cliff.
That's awful. If Sir Myson rides off to war, what'll happen to Alm?
You got me.
Faye, just so you know, that's not how this is going to end up working.
Lucas, were you able to speak with my grandfather? What did he say?
He said no. Sir Myson made it clear he has no intention of joining the Deliverance.
What?
Yeah, not really sure
He's
why.
ridiculously strong.
Yeah,
He
he
could defeat
pretty much
some
is.
stuffy chancellor with his eyes closed.
Actually, no,
Why
Desai
would he
is kind of
refuse when
strong.
So many people are suffering.
Like, by the time
Speak
you
to Sir
get
Myson's
to him
thinking,
to
but it
fight
seems
him
we
in
misplaced our
Act
hopes.
3, he's not
We'll
that
have
bad.
to return to our
But
hideout
fighting him
and
for the
bring
first
Sir
time at the
Clive
end of
ill
Act
news.
1 is a lot
Perhaps
harder.
Myson has simply grown too old for the battlefield.
Yeah, that's definitely not true.
It was good meeting you, Alm. I must be on my way. Thank you again for your assistance.
He's not old. He's tougher than men half his age. Lucas, wait!
What is it?
I bet you guys can't guess what he's about to say here. Except it's incredibly obvious.
I'll go. I'll join the Deliverance.
Yup, that's pretty
what
much
the hell?
guaranteed.
Hey, you can't do that.
Sure he can, otherwise this story doesn't go
I'll
anywhere.
admit, you fight like a beast, and they'd be lucky to have your sword. But this isn't sparring with your grandson. I know what it, and if grandfather won't do it, consider my sword as his.
I understand how you feel, but
Sir Myson has been teaching me to use a blade since I was a boy. I've received tutelage in military tactics, medicine, weather, terrain. I know as much about war as any man who has never seen one can. Let me fight for you with my grandfather's gifts. I'll prove he's no cowardly old man. He's a warrior who trains warriors.
that might just work.
Huh? Then you mean... Oh, come on. You can't be serious.
Oh, shut up.
Why
Cliff.
not? Alm presents a good case. He has a hero's blood in him, and clearly a hero's fire. His presence is sure to raise the troops' morale. And for my part, I'm curious to see what a self-proclaimed warrior can do. Especially now that he'll be doing it for the Deliverance.
Thank you, Lucas. You won't regret this. I've seen a lot of cake taking in my day, but this really takes the cake.
If anything were to happen to you, just don't do it, okay?
Nope,
I'm
sorry, Faye.
Faye, but I've made up my mind. But maybe all of you could come with me.
Or I could do a run where I leave Cliff and Faye for,
Splendid idea. Maybe we could all
recruiting
be impaled on the same lance.
or for Celicus to recruit.
I'm just saying we could do it together. Fighting, I mean, not the lance.
I don't know, that would be kind of interesting to okay, never mind.
Grandfather trained all of us, right? Not just me. You already know how to use a sword and a bow, so what's the problem? Oh, are you insane? We were sparring with wooden fences and tree trunks. They don't hit back. Oh, sod it all. I'm not as bright as I'd like to think I am, so, count me in. Great.
Yeah, so basically Gray jumps in because he feels like it, and then Tobin jumps in
You
for
have
money.
life. In the end, there will be much to learn, and you'll be given a product.
Wait, you mean we get paid? As in actual money?
Yes, Tobin, that's generally how a job works.
We would be...
Come on, pause. Tobin, you don't have... Why don't you all take a little time? Let's split up. I need to go.
Okay, so with that, we go over to Myson's house. He's not home, apparently, because reasons.
Yeah.
And so then we're like, oh, well, I guess we're leaving without talking to him then. So now we go back to the entrance.
Oh, there.
We basically sum up that we didn't see
There's nothing
Myson.
wrong. We don't have... Now then, were you able to say goodbye?
I tried.
Well,
It's alright.
Speaking of, where did he like leave to go to Zofia Castle at this moment?
I'll
But then where why didn't he encounter all the enemies
I'm
that we
coming
do?
too. I'm staying with you.
Yeah, I actually do need all the help I can get. Plus, I was planning something with the villagers.
Deliverance is fighting all across Sophia, right? Well, I've always wanted to see the world, and now's my chance. All I have to do is not get killed. Easy, right?
Okay, so with all the villagers recruited, let's go. So, we're finally... Oh, right. They've got a bunch of dialogue in the early game.
Home. Am I sure?
Okay, so basically we're going off to fight, and Myson is gone.
But consider... I doubt I could have talked him into letting me join an army. Not that it would have changed things either way. I have to go. Not just to prove him as a teacher, but to prove myself to me.
And to prove that we actually have a Fire Emblem game here.
Well,
Okay, so just going to skip through this a bit. They're basically just bantering back and forth. And then let's get to at least the first fight here. I wanted to try to get to the Thief's Shrine, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. Just because I'm unfortunately running out of time to record in this session. So, unfortunately, I'm going to have to cut the episode pretty soon. But at least in the meantime, I can jump in and take the first fight. So, Lucas is basically saying, up here is where we need to go first, and then we'll eventually end up over here, and obviously, here's Desai and Slade. Desai has been mentioned a few times, Slade has also popped up a couple times, and we're going to be fighting one of them later. Desai is the one we're going to be fighting. I mean, technically we'll be fighting Slade as well, but Desai is the one we're interested in killing when we get over there. And in fact, we'll be avoiding killing Slade, because if we kill... In order to get the Draco Shield that Desai has, you can't kill Slade. So that's going to cause the main bit of difficulty for that map. So then, brigands basically show up literally right outside the gates, and we've got to go fight them. And here we go.
Follow me.
Oh, if I may. Without experience, trust them.
Right.
So basically, the game is actually telling you a good way to get the villagers EXP. Which is good because you start with a ton of them. But the game kind of lets you off easy by giving you one that can promote off the bat, and then one that's only one level away from promoting, and then two that need to reach level 3 from level 1 in order to promote. Oh, right. The game... I don't know why, but like the smart end that's in this game... Wait, what's auto advance? Oh, never mind. I hadn't scrolled all the way through the menus at any point, so I wasn't aware of that, actually. Smart end on, just because that way the game will act a bit more like Awakening, which is what I'm more used to. Well, Awakening and Fates, I should say. Wow, did you really just... Oh, dear. We're supposed to be giving these skills to the villager. You don't need these skills. Oh, well, whatever. So, Lucas, Lucas is basically high defense, good attack, not fantastic everything else. Which is passable for now because he's a pretty good tank. As you can see, he's only taking a little bit of damage from anything that hits him, and he's avoiding a lot because he's in the forest. And basically, it's just it's just showing us the danger area that I think I already opened up anyway. Not really that important at the moment. So then let's have Tobin come down and get this kill. We only need him to get him 1 level, so this shouldn't take too long for him. Okay, so that's already most of the way to the level. And then, how much does Gray do here? Oh, way too much. Plus, I need to be able to put Faye in close to do that. Here, I'll have Alm come over this way. Just weaken this brigand. The hardest part about this map is the villagers start with just very bad stats, for the most part. I mean, Gray is decent when he starts off. Well, actually, all of their bases start sort of in a middle ground, but just the way it works is... just the stat distributions for some of the units are less than ideal. Like, Faye just doesn't do very much damage at first, which can be a bit of a problem. We actually don't want to put Cliff right next to the forest tile. We don't want to entice them to take the forest, because a void is overpowered in this game. Okay, so there's a chance we'll get a crit here, but probably not. Yeah, no, I didn't think so. But that's a bit of damage for us. And then I think we'll have Faye get the kill on this brigand.
Did you see that?
I have to say, the villager animations are pretty cool. Even though they're just villagers, they actually have some fighting skill. Alright, so, unfortunately, the forest tile provides plus 40 avoid, which makes it pretty difficult for us to hit. So we're just going to give it our best here. Yeah, miss 1. Come on, hit the 2nd. Okay, we at least hit something, which gives Tobin a bit of EXP. And then we can try to have Cliff finish him off. Oof, 49% chance. Really don't like those odds, but I don't think I've got a choice. Ah, great. Yeah. This game's RNG is really not kind, so it'll make things a bit difficult for us. Oh, come on! That was a 92%... Like I said, this game's RNG is not very forgiving, I should say. Alright, so we'll just end our turn, let them start to move out a bit. Oh, ugh. Okay, not as bad as Tile, though. Tiles, as a terrain effect, get really, really stupid. And we'll get into why a bit as we advance further in Act 1. It really comes to a height at the end of Act 1 as to why tiles are the worst terrain effect I've ever seen. Okay, Lucas, I need you to hit 1, miss the other. Missed 1, okay. There we go. Alright, Cliff is getting a bit beat up. If I attack with him this turn, there's a chance he'll die on the next, so I think we're just going to end our turn here. Yep, he'll target Cliff, that's fine. We just need to hit you. Come on, come on. I do not like this game's RNG. Alright, so, let's have Tobin just go in for the double, and of course he hits the first attack. The one I wasn't necessarily trying to get all the EXP for. But whatever.
We really took it to him.
Okay, now another thing that I do like about this game is bonus EXP, because that makes it a lot easier to get levels. So now Faye is 1 attack away from getting level 2, Tobin is 1 attack away from getting level 3, and everyone else at least got some EXP where they might not have otherwise gotten any.
Yes. That was some fun.
And so then, it's just like, yeah, you did it, now we've got to keep moving on. And we finally get to save. Alright, I am going to push... I think I am actually going to try to clear the Thief's Shrine in this episode. Just because that's... that'll get into the, I guess, trick, or,
What is...
I don't really know how to describe it, but I'll just go ahead and say what it is. So, for this series, I've got a random number generator pulled up on my computer, and I'll switch to that when it comes up. But basically, anytime I can promote a villager, I'll be using the RNG to determine what class they get. So, I'll assign each class a number, and then my random number generator will pull a number 1 through 5 for the male villagers, 1 through 4 for Fae, and whatever number that gets, that's what class I have to promote that villager to. And then I'm debating whether or not to include this part. I haven't actually decided yet, but I'm considering making it so that every time I get the opportunity to promote someone, I use the RNG to determine how many levels I have to get past that. Maybe I'll just make it like 0 to 1 or something, but I don't know. I might not do that though, because for certain units like clerics and Pegasus Knights and female mages, that can get a bit punishing. Or I guess I should just say mages in general, because the game is not very forgiving when it comes to getting them levels quickly. Alright, so we're just gonna have Alm, or the plan for this chapter is basically to have Alm and Lucas rush the left side, the villagers deal with the enemies on the right. We'll move Alm and Lucas over to the other side to help them out in a second, or after we've dealt with most of the enemies on this section of the map. And then we should be able to just pretty quickly sweep out this map. The problem is, this map is basically entirely covered in forests, which just hinders our path. So I'm going to put Faye in a forest so that she gets a bit of cover. And I'm guessing, yeah, I was going to say, I didn't place Tobin in an ideal position, so he gets left in range and is getting attacked again. But that gets him the level he needs to promote. Oh yeah, I should probably mention too, the growth rates in this game are also not very forgiving, so basically you'll be seeing a lot of low growths for the most part. Okay, so I think I'm gonna try to give Cliff this kill. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have Faye get this attack here. I'm gonna have her deal some chip damage. This will get her the level because she was at 90 XP. Basically doing anything at that point will get her a level.
It's nice
Oh,
to get
and she even gets a decent level up. Please. As we're doing this, let's see. Cliff doesn't quite do enough damage. Gray, does he double? Yes, he does. So I think what I'm gonna have to do is basically trap this guy. I'll put Gray on this side just so that we're not leaving Cliff in the range of. I hate forest tiles. Terrain effects in this game just get almost tedious because the game uses them in ways that make it a bit difficult to cross certain maps and that make it needlessly difficult to clear out other maps. Okay, so for now let's just have... Alright, we gave Lucas the kill last time, so I guess let's give Alm the kill this time. So we'll have Lucas go in first, deal some chip damage, weaken this brigand down, and then we can have Alm finish him off. I have to say, I really like the animations in this game. Like, Fates' animations were decent, but this game just really steps it up. Alright, so... Then, as I expected, Gray is the one who gets attacked, but that's fine. And then, the game's AI is also a bit smarter, so it'll try to have any unit that can escape to heal, go off and heal. Oh, of course, Faye now doubles, so that means... Oh, jeez. I forgot how difficult it can be to train Cliff in the early game before he can promote. I think I'm gonna let that brigand go for a turn, just to try to get him out of the forest a bit. We're gonna have Lucas and Alm take down this brigand together. Lucas will get a level. He can promote at level 7 to get to be a knight. Now I'm guessing that that'll happen probably, maybe slightly before the Deliverance HQ, or maybe the Southern Stronghold, but I don't know. That kind of depends on how much he ends up getting used. Okay, so Alm is getting close to his first level. The thing about Alm is he doesn't get to promote until, I want to say it's Act 4, after Celica does a certain event in one of the areas in her route. Then Alm gains access to the hero promotion. But in any case, we'll have Faye get this kill, get some EXP, get her closer to promoting, because we want all of the villagers to promote here at the Thief's Shrine. Just because that makes our lives much, much easier. For now, let's have Cliff just do some chip damage to this guy. We get the avoid, which is nice. I would have liked to be able to kill him on that attack, but nothing you could really do on that. Alright, so we'll have Gray get around to go between the supplies at the back of this map and this Brigand to deal some damage. And then we'll have Tobin come up and try to get this kill. So Gray you don't really need to use as much for a main attacking unit, just because, or like for grinding, just because he starts at level 5, which means he's already well within the range to promote. Because the villagers can promote once they reach level 3 or above. So because he starts at level 5, you don't really need to put in that much EXP for him.
I got it.
Okay, so I think the plan is going to be, let's see, Tobin can't, Tobin can promote, but but Faye and Cliff can't, so we're going to try to slow this guy down so that we can get the EXP for one of our villagers. Alright, so now let's just outright try to trap this guy like you might an archer. Or I could give Faye the kill, but I want to try to get Cliff to level 2 by the end of this fight, so we're just going to trap him, make it so that he basically has to attack Cliff here, or just go off to this side for no reason. But whatever, that'll give... Oh, seriously? How do you still have enough health to survive? Oh wait, that's right. I was using other units to attack instead of Cliff. Never mind, I got confused there for a second. Whatever. Cliff can't get down there, but we can wall this guy in and have Cliff start to beat him. Okay, so he's at 1 health. All we need to do is hit him one more time with Cliff. And then we'll start moving our other 2 villagers up to the north to get ready to deal with that other guy. Oh my god. This AI just... Oh, I didn't even realize there were supplies down there. That explains it. Oh sure, we crit now after he's already run a lot.
We could do this again.
Whatever. We get the level for Cliff. That's good, because now we just need 1 more level to promote him. Ooh, and we got a decent level.
Definitely feel strong.
A really good level, actually. Attack, skill, speed, luck, and defense. That's pretty good. Oh, HP and magic have been lumped together again for this game, so they're just attack now. If you haven't played Echoes, you wouldn't know that, so just putting that out there for now. Alright, so let's get our units in position. We're going to probably... I think we're going to give this kill to probably Faye, just because she'll probably be the easier one to get the kill. But we are going to try to get Cliff a bit more EXP here, because Cliff and Faye need to hit level 3 by the end of the Thief's Shrine in order to promote and make this just so much easier. Okay. Cliff's defense is 4. Brigand's attack is 7. He takes 3 damage and deal 6, I want to say? Worthwhile. Okay, so by using the Force, we'll be able to fight in a more advantageous way, preferably avoiding damage at all, but that probably won't happen. Ooh, it actually looks like we get 12 damage off on him. Yeah, because of course enemies hit 40% chances, but I don't. Anyway, so now we need to block him from returning to the heal tile. Ooh, do I use Faye or Tobin? Tobin, I guess, could use a bit of EXP, but Faye's the one who mainly needs it, but then Faye comes with the chance to get the kill. So I guess let's go for it. I almost want to say best case scenario, we only hit 1 of these attacks, and then Cliff can get the kill, but no. One of the nice things about the animations in this game is you can tell basically as soon as the animation starts whether or not you hit on the killing attack.
I thought I got something.
Oh, and the characters have different voice lines depending on how good their growths were and in what sections. But like half the characters reference being able to read the enemy's actions a bit.
Val, now come. They mentioned...
Oh, so I kind of skipped over it because I was just trying to get to the fight. But in the Thief's Shrine, they've basically taken someone prisoner. So now we'll be able to go in and fight them. Oh my god, if I can actually click on Alm on this overworld map.
Stay away from me! I'm only the stupid watchman! I just watch things!
Hooray for cowards. Alright, so this is our first dungeon. It's not that difficult, but it's got a couple items we can take just to make our lives
The
a
enemy
bit
could be
easier.
anywhere. We need to proceed carefully.
And then it's just giving us a little tutorial about dungeons. Now this is where the game switches to be a dungeon crawler for a bit.
It's foul, like the rogues who prowl about the place. How did this house to the mother become so...
Oh, there we go. I was trying to attack for an attack or two there, but I just completely missed.
Just say the word.
Alright, I think we're going to, for the most part, just fall back a bit.
Just leave it to me.
Trying to leave only Alm and Lucas in the danger area. But we'll get our units close together so that they can start to build more supports, because supports are really useful in this game. Just because they increase hit rates, decrease enemy hit rates, increase your crit rate, that sort of thing.
I can tell I'm getting stronger.
That wasn't a great growth, but Alm does kind of need to get some defense in order to make fighting to say better. Oh, another thing to note. In this game, if your defense is higher than the opponent's attack, you'll take 1 damage instead of 0 from an attack that hits you. Okay, so now finally Cliff is strong enough to kill this guy. Oh, and of course now you crit. Whatever. A kill is a kill, so hopefully... Nope. So we don't quite have enough EXP to promote him yet, or to get the level yet. But I guess we'll give... let's go Gray. May as well try to get him a level while we can. Just to take advantage of some of the EXP he's built up right now. Okay, so I don't know if we'll be able to get him a level here. Faye already has the ability to promote, so we don't really need to worry about getting her a level. Let's just have her attack to weaken this brigand. Okay, and then we'll have Alm go over to attack this brigand and weaken them. And then maybe I'll have Tobin get this kill. But I need to get Cliff to kill something on this map. Or something else on this map, I should say. I guess for now we'll just go over here, leave it so that he can try to attack Cliff, or just go probably kill himself on Tobin. That's actually possibly a problem. Okay, so, nope, yeah, I figured that he was going to do that. Alright, so that's going to be the kill for Tobin. That might be a level for Tobin, actually. Oh, come on. That happens to me all the time. I get like 1 EXP less than I needed to get the level. But at least Tobin, Gray, and Cliff are all 1 attack away from leveling up, basically. So that'll be useful. Oh, and then it's just explaining the fatigue, because, you know, this game wasn't tilting enough at times. Now, all of these boxes and stuff are breakable, so we can cut our way through to get to the chest that's over here. Also, you can sometimes pick up money just from it dropping from the different things you break on the field. But then the main thing is, if we attack this chest, we get an iron sword. So I think we're going to give that to Cliff right now, just because we could use the extra power for him. And then we're going to go over here, we're going to break these pots, hopefully get like a silver mark out of it or something. Nope. Okay, that's fine. Ah, perfect, another fight. I was just thinking I was hoping to get another encounter before the end of this dungeon.
Just say the word.
Alright, so let's have Cliff go over here, and we'll give him some supporting units.
Just leave it to me.
Come at me, fool!
And then we'll let them come at us. Okay, so the Iron Sword is nice because it, even though it doesn't give very much extra attack, it doesn't have weight, or it doesn't have any weight, which means it keeps the unit's original speed intact.
I definitely feel stronger.
Speed, luck, defense isn't terrible. I would have liked to see him get strength, but at least, or attack I should say, but at least he gets the ability to promote now. Okay, so let's have Tobin do something. Tobin, Cliff, or Tobin, and I don't remember who else it was. I can check in a second. just trying to get the units who are about to level up to get a level, just so we get the extra stats. Wow, that's like one of the few times I've ever seen Tobin get a good level up. Just, Tobin can be useful as certain classes, but I've just rarely seen him be super valuable. Like, Sniper Tobin is pretty useful just because he gets a lot of range and can deal some good chip damage from afar. And it's weird because whenever I think that he's completely useless, he always gets like a crit or something, and then I'm just eating my words. But the main thing is, it's just... Cliff doesn't seem to... sorry, not Cliff. Tobin doesn't seem to scale very well, in my opinion.
We could do this again.
Okay, so... That's a bit more EXP for Cliff. And then I guess we'll have Faye come over here to be able to get some of the fighting. And we'll have Alm weaken this frigate. Possibly getting a crit, maybe? Nope. Okay, that's fine. I wasn't really counting on a crit there. We don't really need it. I was just thinking perhaps we could get the crit and get the kill. But whatever. Faye will be able to get this kill more than easily. Like that.
Did you see that?
Okay, so I think there's one more fight before we get to the end of the...
Man, that was too easy.
I can't talk. Before we reach the end of the Thief's Shrine. So now we just go back out this way. I don't think there's a breakable wall on this side. I don't remember. Yeah, no, there's no breakable walls over here. I know there was that breakable, like, boxes and stuff blocking the chest. And whatnot.
What do you scrawny little rats want? You got nerve barging in here, just as I was getting to kill 'em, boys, and be creative about it.
Okay, so now we have to fight the boss of the brigands, basically. Well, not basically, that's literally what he is. Anyways. So this isn't that difficult of a fight, but there are more units here, and it's more like a proper fight on a dungeon's battlefield. Which is a bit annoying because the dungeons don't generally have that many interesting terrain effects. The maps are just honestly kind of boring in my opinion.
Who do you think you are? Saving one wench won't make this world any less of a pit.
Can we get the crit with Lucas and just... Nope, okay. Because this fight is actually a defeat the boss chapter, it's not a rout the enemy fight. So, or, I say chapter, fight is probably the better word. But because of that, as soon as we kill the boss, that's it for the fight. Alright, so let's... Trying to see what I can do here, but I think I am just going to have Faye go for the kill on the boss. Because if we get the kill on the boss with Faye, that's pretty much the end of the chapter, and, or, again, not chapter, fight. And it'll get her some nice EXP. Nice, almost a level. Well, almost a full 100 EXP, I should say. So then from here, because we killed the boss, everyone is just sort of like, nope, I'm out.
You make it look easy, Alm.
And so as a result of that, we can then recruit Silk.
Miss, are you alright? Say something. You're in. Don't worry. We don't.
After those...
So basically, Silk is our first healer. If we get lucky, Claire, not Claire, Faye will promote to be a,
Are you serious?
Faye will promote to be a cleric if we get lucky with the RNG. But in the case that that doesn't happen, it doesn't really matter that much. It's basically just going to be a,
what is it?
or Silk will end up as our only healer. Which isn't terrible, but best case scenario, we get a second healer.
I believe it will be of great use to you.
Are you sure?
No, this is definitely for you. Now that you have left your village and embarked upon an auspicious journey, the turn wheel will become a vital tool during the trials ahead.
Yeah, because this game's RNG is super cruel, but the turn wheel lets you retry it, basically.
Okay. Well, thank you. I promise to take good care of it. By the way, how do you use it?
When the time is right?
Okay, so she's basically explaining the turn wheel, and it'll give us, like, a flash of this graveyard.
Where am I? That's Sophia Castle. This is our kingdom? What happened here? Is the deliverance too late?
Now, to be honest, I still don't understand that scene. Like, I don't get...
Be calm.
Like, Silk
What you see-
kind of
the
implies
mother is
here
a
that
perfect-
it's showing the future.
Something that, if the
Or,
vision
like,
was
something that
a
could
sign
happen,
of the
as she says. But it doesn't quite
In
explain
my
what
trap,
happens here.
With no goddess, and I would ask.
So now we recruit Silk, which is super valuable. Alright,
Welcome, child of fate. I am a servant of Milla. Present to me those who are worthy. By my master's will, shall I bestow upon them new power.
okay, so then it's just explaining how to promote. And then, so now this is where we need to get out that RNG. So, first we'll basically just go down the line, so I'm pretty sure it's Cliff, Tobin, or it's Gray, Tobin, Cliff, then, Faye. But in any case, we'll just make it so that we take care of that. So, let's get cut to my RNG over here. And I've got it set up so I can pull a number 1 through 5. Just one number, because we obviously only get one. So let's generate the first number, 2. Okay, so the first villager will then have to promote to the second class. So let's cut back to the game here.
Well, here goes nothing.
Okay, so Gray is now a soldier, which is actually not very good in my opinion, because I would have liked to see him, best case scenario, he would have gotten mercenary, just because I feel like that's one of his better class options. I just feel that the extra skill and speed really helps him out, even though he already has decent performance in those sections. So then, let's cut back to the RNG for Tobin's level. Sorry, my computer is not cooperating today. 4. Okay, so wow, I can't talk. Tobin will promote to the fourth option. So Tobin, 1, 2, 3... 1, 2, 3, archer. Cool. Tobin as an archer is decent. He's actually what I've got... Or that's actually the combination I've got for him on my main file. Just because I think that using Tobin for the chip damage is good, and it keeps him from suffering too much from his bad defense. But the problem is archers are just not very good in this game because their hit rate is so bad, even though they get good range. Okay, so then he gets the ability to use a bow and gets immediately bow range +1. So then it's actually Faye next, it looks like. So then, hang on while I just switch the RNG to go a number 1 through 4. And then we'll go back into this. Alright, so 1 through 4, 3. I actually don't remember what that does. So for Faye, 1, 2, yes! Cleric Faye. That's awesome, because that gives us early access to Physic, that gives us another healer, it gives us just a lot of good advantages for the early game, and then it gives us another source of healing in Alm's Root when he generally doesn't get that many sources of healing. And having Faye as a cleric will make Desai's fight a lot easier.
To keep you safe,
Recover a Nosferatu, nice. Okay, so if I get super lucky here, I'll manage to get Cliff as a mage. Now, I've seen some mixed opinions about Cliff as a mage, but in my opinion, he's pretty good. Just because I find his spell list decent enough, even though it's not the best it could be. Let's go generate 5. Okay. Wait, was it 5? Yes, it was 5. We get Cliff as a mage. Okay, so this is actually a lot less different than what I would have liked to see. Just because I was expecting to get a bunch of classes for these units I had never used before. But this is actually pretty good, because with Cliff as... Or not Cliff, sorry. Gray as a soldier, while I'm not a huge fan of the soldier class, it makes it so that we can try him out as a tankier unit as opposed to a high damage sweeper. And the rest of the party is actually a complete match for what I usually... Or for what I had on my first account here. Alright, so just before we end the episode, let's hop into the dungeon one last time, because we get our first Sacred Springs here. So we get Waters of HP or Waters of Attack. So for this, I'm thinking I'm going to give... or Waters of HP or Waters of Speed, sorry. I think for this then, I'm going to go give Cliff 2 points of speed, just because giving him the extra speed is valuable. And then I'm thinking I'm going to go... I might give Gray the extra speed, just because I do want him to be good, and right now his defense is... Actually, Gray and Cliff are very, very similar here. I could give extra HP to Silk, but I don't really think that's the best use of this fountain. Let's see. I guess I'll give another point of speed to Gray. Just so that he's got better speed. Because Gray is probably my favorite of the villagers just through regular use. Although, as a soldier, I'm not sure if that'll end up being the case still. But I suppose we'll have to see in the episodes to come. So I think I'm just going to basically sprint out of the Thieves Shrine here. We don't really need to grind that much. And having a mage will make the fights to come much easier than it could have been. So yeah, super stoked about stoked? Did I really just say that? Wow. Super excited, I should say. Sorry. Super excited about what classes we got for most of the villagers. We'll have to see how Gray as a soldier ends up turning out. But that's going to be it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to leave a like, comment, let me know what you thought. Let me know what other shenanigans you'd like to see me try. Let me know what your preferred combination for the classes for villagers is, if you've played this game and have one. Or otherwise, just, I guess let me know what you think I should do for incorporating the RNG for promoting, or for promoting other units, because I'm leaning towards maybe like 0 through 2 or 0 through 1 or something, and using that to determine how many levels after gaining the ability to promote a non-villager unit I have to wait. But I'm not sure if that's what I'm going to do. So if you've got an opinion on that, or like what you would want me to do with that, leave it in the comments below. I'll check it out, and we'll see what happens with that. And I will see you all in the next video. Have a good day.